Look at that. Baby buzzed right off, no problem. That was too easy. I get suspicious when things are too easy. And yeah, I went a little nuts with the drilling. Got a little crazy. Welcome back, everybody. We are with the CRF230R, trying to take the trail bike CRF230F and make it into a race bike. Can it be done? Today, we're going to be taking the flywheel off, sending it out to have it machined down and lightened up, and I'll show you each step of the way. And with the flywheel off, we're going to replace the flywheel key with an advance key, which will advance the timing to get a little more horsepower out of this engine. We'll also be looking at the starter gear, which was taken also to the machine shop. As a bonus, I'm going to show you a trick for your dipstick. And we're also going to take this little bad girl out for a test ride. But before we dive into all that, let's do a quick recap of what we've done to the CRF230 so far. Remember, this thing was pretty beat when I bought it. I got it for less than $500, and the engine ran really strong, and everything was there, and it ran great. Everything was good, just a little beat up. So first thing we did, we replaced, well, we just did a complete fork job. Replaced the seals, springs. I put in some Race Tech gold valve emulators. We replaced the rear sprocket with a aluminum steel combo sprocket. Also replaced the front with a lightweight Renthal sprocket. You should always replace, of course, the chain. So we went with the DID X-ring chain, and that gave it a little less drag on the engine. We took that dirty old exhaust pipe and cleaned it up, made it look a little nicer. It was a nice BBR pipe. We cut out the top of the air box. We installed a rev box. I started taking off as much weight as I possibly could. I took off the headlight, replaced a lot of the nuts and bolts, whatever I could that didn't require a lot of strength with aluminum bolts. Replaced a lot of the engine covers. There were a lot of parts that just had to weigh. We drilled out both axles and the swing arm bolt, which saved us a lot of weight. Cut off little pieces of here and there wherever we could save a little bit of weight that was unnecessary. Parts that were unnecessary. Replaced a lot of necessary parts with aluminum parts, so everything had to be weighed before and after. Very time consuming. We replaced the battery. We replaced a lot of the components with things like motor mounts and bolts. We drilled out everything I could think of within reason. It got a little out of hand at one point. Replaced the stock handlebars with some used Pro Taper bars. We replaced the seat cover. We took it out for a test drive. The improvements that we made were significant. Not perfect, but the bike was it was like night and day. The bike was now rideable. You could actually go fast on this bike. Now, with all that weight taken off, we managed to take off 16.2 pounds in the last episode. So now the bike was vastly improved. Between the stiffer springs and the Race Tech gold valves on the forks, proper jetting accomplished, and cutting out the air box with a uni filter, as well as the CDI rev box, all put together made quite a significant difference in the power and the suspension. Still not a race bike, but we're getting there. But now, where do we take it? What else can we do to this thing? Today, we're gonna get one step closer to that 20-pound mark. We're going to do a little bit more to get maybe this engine running a little better. I hate how I always grunt when I'm working on things. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, the starter gear is not in there right now because it is over at John Nagelson's shop, his machine shop, and he's machining it and taking off quite a bit of weight off of it because it's a pretty heavy little item. Actually, it's a heavy little booger for such a small gear. And the thing is, it comes out so easily. You just pull it right out. It's really a piece of cake. So I thought, well, while it's out, and John offered to do some work on it, I thought, well, why not? If we can shave a little more weight. So the idea was to shave off 20 pounds off this bike. Whether that can be done or not, I don't know. So then I thought, oh yeah, the flywheel. And some people do flywheel lightening. So I found a couple companies that do it. And one charges over, they're both over in Louisiana. One charges 75 bucks, the other guy's 85 bucks. One guy couldn't really tell me how much weight he could take off. The other guy said I can take off over a pound safely. Safely meaning that the magnets aren't going to fly off and destroy the motor. So, dude, that didn't sound good, did it? It almost sounded like that bolt broke, but it didn't. Okay, so I've already drained the fluid, the oil out of this bike, and I let it sit overnight. I'm gonna get a mallet. Hang on. Okay. When I said mallet, guys, I meant a rubber one, obviously. You never want to bang on your cases with a metal mallet, right? Anyway, just give it a couple of taps, and it should come right off. And voila. Now, I like to keep my bolts in the case because they actually, many times, they're different lengths, so me, it's always a good idea. See, there's the wire right there. I'm gonna push that out. That should just slide right out. It's probably been in there for years. All right, let's see if we can, there we go. Thought that should just push right out of there. Okay, there's the gear. Goes in like that. I'm just going to lay this off to the side, like so, and hopefully the bolts won't fall out. There we go. And there's your stator inside, and there's no reason to mess with this stator at all. It's fine just where it's at. And we'll just let this sit off to the side. Okay. So, this nut's coming off, and we have this tool is going to go in there, and this, I got this from Motion Pro. That's basically what it looks like, and it just goes inside. I don't have Honda's special tool. I tend not to have Honda's special tools for much of anything. So this has to come off, right? Okay, well, it's going to spin the motor, right? So what I did is I put it up into 6th gear, which should be the least torquey gear of all, and I put that in there, which shouldn't let it turn. Let's see. I'm going to try this. No guarantees. Nope. Okay. Okay, boys and girls, I'm back. Now, I tried using one of these as a holder, available at the nearest auto parts store for oil filters. And you know, they're cheap, they're like 12 bucks. Well, anyway, tried that, you know, just using a ratchet. No good. I wound up, these things are cheap, so I wound up ripping this thing, and it just shredded, and it probably caught on this little magnet right there, and it probably, yeah, it's pretty sharp. So I'm going to try, I bought another one. Actually, I returned it. They gave me another one because I said this is a cheap little tool. So anyway, I'm going to try this again, but this time we're going to use the old impact. And I hate breaking out my impact tools because I know a lot of you guys, you don't have impact tools. You don't have a compressor. I do, but I like to work with hand tools for the people that, you know, that's all they have. And let's have it go the right way here. All right, now I don't know if this is going to do it either, but we're going to try. Now, holding it with the tool, it should work. I said should. Boy, that thing's really stubborn. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, dude, it's backwards thread. No, it's not backwards thread. I double checked the manual. It's regular left hand, lefty-loosey. So it's just stubborn. And so sometimes you have to resort to a little bit of heat. And so we're gonna go, if you guys don't have one of these already, get one, because they're just like, oh, they're like gold. When you really need one, you need a quick source of flame. And so, not a great idea. I'm next to gasoline, I realize that, but I'm gonna heat this baby up a little bit. Not a lot, and I'm not getting a good, there we go. I'm getting a terrible flame here. Now, if you want to use MAP gas, much quicker. This is just regular old propane. If you want something hotter. There we go. That's more like it. And we're going to heat this up, baby. Not too much. I don't want to get all crazy with the heat, but just enough to heat up that bolt. Get a little expansion action going in there, and that's probably plenty. Get terrible flame anyway. Okay, before it cools, let's try this again. Oh yeah. So that's good. That's some real world stuff there. You know, that sometimes things just don't go right. You buy cheap tools and they break and they don't work. And oh, in case you're wondering, I tried the old foot brake. You know, hold the foot brake while you're doing it, and it didn't work. And I, you know, put something in the sprocket here, and the trouble is the clutch wasn't. I don't have clutch spring strong enough to hold it. So then the clutch just started slipping. So, you know, what are you gonna do? Anyway, so I think that's probably cooled to the touch now. And there we go. So now we can get the magic tool in there, the Motion Pro tool. You don't have to necessarily get it from Motion Pro, and you don't need to get it from Honda, but what it is a, oh my God, that's tiny writing. M16 by 1.5 is the size. So guess what? It's the same size as your rear axle. So if you want to pull your rear axle, that's another way to do it. Look at that. Baby buzzed right off, no problem. That was too easy. I get suspicious when things are too easy. All right. So this is cool. I've been wanting to get this flywheel off, and we're gonna take some weight off of it. Now, let me take this off. That thing was stubborn, but that's good, you know, because things don't always go the way you want them to. I mean, things just, some of these videos that you see on YouTube and guys just zip things off and make it look all easy, they're not showing you the real world problems that they're having, like we just had with having to break out the torch and the impact wrench, and you know, and it's supposed to just, other people say, oh yeah, it just zips right off. Well, not always, as you can see. And so I am here to help you guys do things with hand tools. That's kind of where the direction I'm going, because I like using hand tools. I don't really like using air tools that much. They're kind of a, you know, they have their place for production and speed and efficiency, but what's going on there? Oh, that's some weird, oh, that's the weld. That is the actual weld. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna zip this thing off and send, I think I'm gonna go ahead and send this thing out to get it lightened up. What do you think? What would you do? Go with a local guy who's pretty sure he can do it right? Or the guy that's what they do? Okay, so one detail I forgot to mention is we need to take off gear, the clutch gear and the sprag off this flywheel. So it's much easier to do this while it's still on the bike. So I went ahead and I put the bolt back in, and it takes a Torx. I don't know if you can see that in there. And this is magnetic, by the way, so it's going to grab your tools and drive you crazy. Be able to bust one loose. I couldn't do it. I didn't like banging on it like that. So again, we have to resort to, and you know, going from a 1/2 inch down to 3/8 down to a quarter drive is never a good idea. But what are you going to do? With this thing though, they just zip right off. It's easy. So I don't know what to tell you. And now, As you can see, it's separated. Okay, so while we're at it, we're going to see what the flywheel weighs. So we're zeroed out here. And we are at 3 pounds, 3.9 ounces. All right, it's here. The thing I've been waiting for a while. Not that it was delayed, but I just was a little anxious to get this thing back from where I sent it. All right, got some free stickers here for MX Performance. Ooh, I like that one. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah. I sent this to mxperformance.com in Louisiana. And I can feel the condensation and the humidity from Louisiana. The guy I worked with was great. He talked to me and told me exactly what he was gonna do. I can't wait to weigh this thing and see what it weighs. 2 pounds, 8 ounces. As I recall, let's see, I can't remember, was it 3 pounds, 8 ounces? I don't remember now, see? But we'll compare the two. So yeah, okay. So now we're just waiting on the 4-degree advanced woodruff key. We put this thing back together. I'm just putting a little bit of number 2 Loctite because I really don't want these coming off. Some people might object to using Loctite internally in an engine, but what would you rather have happen? A small particle of Loctite or one of these bolts coming loose and wiping out your entire stator, flywheel, and whatnot? So the choice is yours. Yeah, you'll find one of the most annoying things about this is the magnetic field. It just, you're fighting it. So anyway, be prepared for that. No big deal. But which we are going to take this woodruff key, I don't know if you can see that, and we're going to replace that with a +4 degree. It's really the only way to advance the timing on these things, unfortunately. But what we'll do is we'll take this, replace that with a I'm gonna go +4 degree. They can go +2, +8, whatever, 6. I think 4 is probably the best overall. If you go 6 and 8, then you gotta start running, you know, race gas and stuff like that. And we'll take our Keyway. There's our new one right here. That's our new one. The correct order that has to go in. Now remember, this washer can go any direction. This needs to go on next, because if you try to put the Keyway, the woodruff key in there first, you're not going to be able to get this on. It's going to stop it. So really important. Now, again, the Keyway goes like this direction. The cut is on the right side. Okay. Yeah, of course the round side goes in this. So that can obviously only go one way, but you can flip this around and give yourself 4 degrees of a retardation. Is that a word? Whereas this direction here, hopefully you can see that, the indent is on the right side, so it can only go that way. Again, if you put it the other way, it's going to make it 4 degrees the other way. So now I know you see the hammer, but you know, this is my smallest hammer. This is my smallest hammer, and it just has to be tapped in ever so gently. Okay, I'm just barely tapping on this. Okay, you can see this edge is pretty flat here. There, that should be fine. Now, you know the woodruff key isn't what keeps the thing from spinning. This isn't what holds it on. It's proper torque of the flywheel on here. This is what holds it on. And as you can see, that cannot come off, nor can it go on. So this has to go, this starter gear has to go on first, then the key, then our sprag, which is already installed. Line it up with the key a little bit. Now just take your finger and pull this out as far as it'll go. And then you're just gonna have to rotate them back and forth till it slides on. You might get lucky the first time, but probably have to work it a little bit. And I think we got it there. Okay, there we go. And that's how it's supposed to be setting. Now it's not on all the way yet, but it is touching the key. Okay, so I am making damn sure that that key slot is lined up with the woodruff key before we put any pressure on that. So it looks like it's lined up to me. Okay, so first I'm just gonna put this kind of hand tight. Make sure it's actually sliding on there like it should, and it feels like it is. Everything looks a-okay so far. Okay, feels right. Feels like it's sliding okay on that. Just gonna do this in graduating torque. I'm gonna just start out, it calls for 54 pounds, which is a lot. I'm just gonna start out with 20 right now. I'm just trying to do real slow turn, and it's not holding. So, hey, there's 40. I don't normally do things like this, but because the cheap strap from the hardware is not gonna hold this, I got it up to about 45 pounds, and then I felt the rubber start to rip and tear, so it's just gonna break like the last one did. So, what I resorted to is I put a screwdriver right there against the case. Yes, I know, very dangerous, because that could bust through and break the case. But I'm pretty much left here. I don't know what else to do. Like I said, I'm at 45 pounds of torque, which is pretty critical, and it needs to be at 54. So I just did it to 50. I hit 50 pounds with this method, and I'm going for 54, so wish me luck. You hear it? And there we are at 54 pounds. Sweet. Nice, it's on. Okay. Feels good. We can move on to bigger and better things. All right, great. Okay, this plate, before you put this plate in, these wires got to be tucked in away from this counter sprocket. You see how it's tucked in there? And it follows this and goes into that. Super important. You see how that's tucked out of the way? This little plate here, there's a little tab right there. Goes right there, and you got one bolt that protects these wires, which is basically your whole ignition system. That's all. If it goes, you're dead in the water. We're going to take this piece, and I think we're going to try to lighten up this piece, this starter sprocket, a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we got the starter gear back from John Nagelson's machine shop, and as you can see, it is a thing of beauty. He took off so much metal from the backside and the middle, and not only drilling it, but took out some meat from the outer edge. And so let's see what we got here. It was 8.3 ounces. We started out at 8.3 ounces. So let's see what we have now. 6.1. So, oh, 6 even, 6 ounces even. So we lost almost 2.5 ounces, 2.3 ounces. Not bad. Didn't charge me much, and it's a very simple thing putting it back in. Nice. Thanks, John. And before you put your dipstick back in, simple little device, right? You may have seen these before. It magnetizes your screwdrivers, or demagnetize, whatever you want to do. You magnetize or demagnetize. But all you have to do is take it and run it through here. And I think you just have to keep it in the center. I think it says keep it in the center, and you draw it in and out like so. So it just picks up any kind of, why not have it? Why not? And then when you pull your dipstick out, you just wipe off any kind of metal particles, right? Cool, huh? Okay, we've got oil in it. And now for the moment of truth. A little bit of choke and
So here we are actually riding the bike with the Flywheel Lightened by MX Performance. They did a really quick turnaround, got it back to me, went all the way out to Louisiana, back here to California, and I'm talking and not letting you look around. This is the riding area, not much, is it? Bunch of sand. We're out here in dry California. It's about 95 degrees. And dry as a popcorn fart. And the other thing is the flywheel key, the advanced 4-degree flywheel key. So let's see how it does. Let's let her rip, huh? Right away I noticed the hesitation is almost gone. But that'll be cured when we fix the carburetor, right? That's next. So, yeah, much quicker rev. I like it. And oh yeah, I need my gloves. Sounds better already. Trying to look ahead, on my toes, hands in attack position. It's a lot to remember and not crash.
Okay, my audio microphone on the helmet was not working. As you can see, it was crackling, popping, and it just basically sucked. So I'll spare you. You probably just want to know, was this a worthwhile project? I'm going to say yes. It's a lot of labor, yes. Fairly inexpensive. But the gain in the low end, and I'm not going to say low end torque because it doesn't add torque, it doesn't take it away. I would say yes, this is probably worth doing. It depends what you're looking for. If you're just a trail rider, no. If you're a Class B racer in Hare and Hounds, then it might be worth doing. And that's my goal. People talk about it's stalling, that you lock up the brake easier and kill the engine. I didn't notice any of that at all. When people add weights to aid in traction and less stalling, I didn't see much difference. No hesitation. That's the thing I really noticed first of all. Whether it was the lightened flywheel or the added, the advanced flywheel key, hard to say. I think the combination of the two is what really woke this little engine up. What I gained was snap right off the bottom. Instantaneous throttle response right off the bottom. Now the next step is carburation. So we're going to go with one of those Chinese knockoffs you see for about $50 on eBay, and we're going to try one. It's a 30mm XR XL250 carburetor knockoff. I don't want to give it away, but I already tried it and it is phenomenal. So we'll be going through that step by step and installing one of those. We'll also be replacing the front brake rotor with a new and lighter brake rotor. So, till next time, thanks for watching. See ya.